tonight, as usual, on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Just tap Nighttime Heat. And of course, you're going to watch the show online and enjoy the show as well. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. We are streaming live. Well, tonight promises to be very interesting as always. All we want you to do, just share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the Nighttime Heat. Our panelists are all in tonight. In fact, the Nighttime Heat legal counsel who left the scene for almost a week. He has returned. And of course, we're going to welcome him in a very special way. I'm making reference to the man Fumble. Fumble has returned. And so we welcome him in a very special way. But let me just acquaint you first with what will be patient tonight. I'm sure you're quite aware that the Supreme Court has ruled in the case involving Yeke Cordoba and the House of Representatives. The case has denied the bill of information filed by Yeke and the House chair. I'm going to play that tape, because immediately the ruling was done. He spoke to the media. We'll have the video. Also, Yeke was on his way. He was on his way either to Ghana or somewhere, and the journalist caught up with him at the Roberts International Airport. We're going to get the tape of Yeke as well, his reaction to the court's ruling today. Well, the criminal proceed has launched an investigation into the alleged juror tampering. And of course, that investigation is on. But in the face of that, the man Samuel Tua, the former Minister of Finance and Development Planning, and his lawyer, Arthur Johnson, they took to the media today. They had a major press conference. We're going to play that tape, and of course, we'll talk about that as well tonight on the program. Well, Senator Darius Dillon is proposing a bill. He wants every cent that you receive from through Western Union, send waves or whatever. He wants $1 to be deducted from that money. So that is if David Tabo's girlfriend that is in Washington, D.C., sent him $5 United States, it means that under $5 United States, David will have to pay $5. I mean, that will be deducted for that. It's not rational. What's the justification? We're going to talk about that tonight as well on the program. Well, President Boyka's pro bono ambassador. The guy is making reference to Sheikh Kuyate. He's, preparing himself to appear before the House of Representatives tomorrow. In fact, he was invited, this gone, I think, Monday or Tuesday. Later on, he was asked to return, and he was asked to leave and return on Thursday. But this time around, with his letter of appointment from the president, and he should also be accompanied by the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. I don't know whether he has all of those people going along with him. Whether he has his letter of appointment, and of course the Minister of State has agreed to follow him. But again, he's asking the House of Representatives for a public hearing. Well, we don't know whether Sheikh Kuyate going to file more. We don't know. But he said He wants it to be done in the public. He don't want anything to be done in camera, outside of public's view. No, he wants the public to listen to him. And so we're going to talk about that as well. And of course, today he wrote on his page, he said, well, he's not going to apologize at all. He ruled out the possibility of any apology, but all he's going to do is to clarify what he said. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Like I said, promises to be very, very interesting. We've got a lot of interesting discussions that we're going to pitch tonight. All you do, just share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. David Benedict is Erasmus Namwitawa. This time around, I'm not going to welcome you first because you were the second man. You came late. That Laura that he's supposed to receive from the next time he crewed, you're not going to receive that Laura on the mo. Let me welcome Desmond. Desmond, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sobo. It's great to be back, and let me say good afternoon, or better still, good evening. It's pretty close, evening hour here in Liberia. Let me say good evening to my co-panelists and to the Liberian people. It is because of the Liberian people we are here. I don't been there. Nobody called Liberian. There should be nobody called journalist. So it is obvious reason for which we are always giving our best to make sure that our people are informed. They are informed adequately. Nothing else but the truth. So I'm great to be back, and let me say thanks to the folks who kept the ground, burning, who kept the ground on firing yesterday evening. So it's great that today we are back to contribute to the national discourse.
Okay, so let me welcome David now. Better introduce Erasmus Namwitawa.
I'm glad that you've taken away that empty award.
Is that one empty?
Empty. There's nothing in.
David, we have a very good package for you. Close to $500 United States dollars. Is that empty award?
Wow, that's an empty award.
This is not why you even any administration of information.
You can't bring trouble. Anyway, good evening, everyone. Good evening to my fellow panelists here, George and family who we haven't seen for quite a long time. I'd like to say hi to Moses in the diaspora right now, many listeners. It's good to be here.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me welcome the Nighttime Heater Legal Counsel. Comrade, welcome. We'll miss you.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm glad to be back. I took sabbatical because I was engaged with the exam. Now the exam is done, and I'm confident that in the next few months we should be now fully prepared to practice before any court, with the exception of the Supreme Court. But I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here as always. In my absence, I've been following you guys religiously, and I actually enjoyed the discourse. I enjoy the exchanges between the panelists. It's good. Like our brother just said, our interest is the Liberian people. Whatever information that we can share, whatever education we can provide that is meaningful to just keep them going during the night time, we'll always be glad to be here.
Okay, welcome again, Fambole. Let me welcome my namesake, George Kennedy. George, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you, Saba. I'm always glad to be here and to also thank my co-panelists and my colleagues on the show, our technicians, and our precious people, our audience. Audiences both on the radio, on the social media. We want to say, please share the show as we try. You are more educated than us, but as we try to provide some information that probably you could use. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so let me welcome Moses as well. Moses, welcome.
Thank you, Father. Now, let me say good evening to all my colleagues in studio. Mr. Pamela, it's a pleasure to have you back. Mr. Kennedy, it's good seeing you. Mr. Pamela, and Mr. Yusuf, it's also good seeing you. Our hard-working technical crew in studio. Let me say hats off to you. For you, nothing is possible. And it is always good coming. And really, I'm saying that I'm happy that Mr. Pamela is here tonight because the discussion tonight, I'm sure a significant portion is going to focus on legal issues. So I'm very happy that we have someone to guide the process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Moses. Again, viewers kindly share the show. You want to watch the show online, either on your YouTube or your Facebook, just tap Nighttime Heat. You're going to follow the show online. And of course, you're going to enjoy the show as well. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. We are streaming live. We want you to share the show, share the live video, so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. Now, gentlemen, let me ask each and every one of you first, just for a few seconds. Dave, what has been trending on your mind? What have you been concerned
What has
about?
been trending on my mind? I've heard that Mustafa Raji has been re-elected as the leader of the Liberia Football Association. I know somebody had to laugh because it's a strange thing for David to talk about football. The first thing that David play a lot of football, play free time ball and play high school football, and none of you guys have ever played
Free time
football.
board aboard, Dave.
So I have a lot of so I have a lot of interest in football.
Okay.
Look, this is the serious part of it, Sabo. There's nothing being heard about the Liberia Lone Star. There's nothing being heard about Liberia football. What's happening? It's dead. When we were boys, we ran on around and played for Mighty Barrow IE. Everything is dead. Even the Lone Star service is dead. So what's happening? I hope that the re-election of Mustafa Raji, that honestly re-elected because he's a visionary leader. And I hope that he will use that vision to help improve Liberia football.
Yeah, I mean, working with the rescue government, he will do
Yeah,
that.
with
I'm
the
sure.
support of the rescue government.
Okay. Just this one. What's on your mind? Just briefly, few seconds.
So there are a lot of things happening. There are a lot more that will happen. So basically, for today, we listen and we follow the recent or the few seconds, triple by hours press conference that was heard by the legal counsel team of former finance minister.
No,
Samuel.
but that is part of our discussion.
You asked me what is trending on my mind. Is it so?
I thought that should be outside of what we have here.
Okay, so we'll keep that as you suggested. So there are a lot more. Currently in the country, Liberia is hosting the former prime minister. The former prime minister of Ethiopia, who is now in our country, under the invitation of the National Commission on People with Disabilities.
Okay.
This is something, applaudable, international wise, and I think as part of the job we do and as part of what we hold for our country is to inform them what matters and what they need to know.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let me ask you. Our legal counsel, Fambula, what is it that that burning on your mind?
Well, like my brother Tagwa said, we've been concerned also about the situation with the national team, and I basically did not see the rationale as to why the FA has to change its rules to allow Mr. Raji to run for a third term. We have to be very careful and cognizant of the laws of this country. Musa ability to serve that position, he served for 2 terms because that's what the law says. You can only serve for 2 terms. Azetta Wesley served that same position. Edwin Snow served that same position. It reached to Mustafa Raji, they changed the law. How is it not possible that after this turn, he's going to change that law again? We need to be very serious here. And people are saying that, he's contributing towards football. No, I'm not seeing the contribution towards football. Grassroots football is not growing. Even if you make Sabo George the FA president today, everything that's happening in football will still happen because FIFA is giving a lot of support. All of the football pitches that have been built, all of the other support that is coming to these countries is a project by FIFA. But this whole thing that people want to project themselves to stay long in office has to stop. We need to move forward. Mustafa Raji is not the only person who can run football in Liberia. I followed the process. They tried to muscle Cassell. Cassell went to the court. At the end of the day, Cassell had to back down. But Cassell rights were violated.
Okay.
Under the laws of Liberia.
Okay, that's what we did. George.
Yeah, so the same football, the lawyer in waiting, he's speaking as a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer already.
I'm a lawyer. I just
in Liberia, we the resort now can't we?
No. No, the degree that will confirm is the LLB in law, so it makes me a lawyer. To practice, that's where you need the license.
So the whole thing is Liberia operates on international law. FIFA process now. All football associations under FIFA to operate under FIFA rules. FIFA rules allow that. Okay, I don't support Raji. I don't support if Kasek Kona had a legal issue. He was clear on Liberian law, but he was not clear on FIFA proceeding. Had he been elected, Liberian football would have been banned, and our laws would not have stood it. The innovation that he has, I actually wanted him to, but I mean that's why I've got to be careful, and, So he didn't run, and so he allowed it to go. Now Raji is there. I mean, football in Liberia requires the support, number one, support of the government, and I think the government should spend more on football.
Okay.
So,
all right. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Moses, let's hear from you. What's of interest to you this evening, apart from what we have to discuss here?
Since everybody is discussing football, I just want to piggyback on what my colleague said. Two things. When I sit abroad and I watch what is happening on the continent, how local sports, like Mr. Target says, is being minimized. European soccer has taken over the continent. Somebody sitting on Rosio celebrating in London. Oh, my team has won. But when Lone Star is playing, the person doesn't care. We have to change the way we see things. The Western dominance, to me, it doesn't add up. So I agree with Mr. Kennedy that our local officials better need to pay attention to local service.
Okay. Thank you, Moses. Thank you very much. You're listening to Nighttime Heat, listeners and viewers. I want you to share the show tonight, this live video, so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow what's happening tonight. We are streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia, 105.5. As you may be aware, the Supreme Court today ruled in the case involving Yeke Koruba, the expelled District Number 10 representative, and the House of Representatives. Well, after the ruling, the chair of the House Committee on Rules and Order, James Kohler, I'm hoping I got it right, he held a press conference. Let's listen to him.
And we are saying to you, no, we did not. And we are saying to you, no, we did not even receive the prohibition. How do we violate the prohibition? So the first is the Justice Institution was never served on us. So to determine as to whether we violated the mandate is to determine as to whether we receive service. But in the absence of service, it means there is no mandate. We do not pass around and insinuate. Or we think that this person will be sued. No, we don't insinuate. It's on the basis of the service and the precept. So I think the most legal question to answer is whether or not the House of Representatives will serve.
Were you served?
And we said, no, we will never serve. Many times we have said to you, 25 constitutions clear on the manner of service. The civil procedure chapter 3 is clear on how to serve one. So for us in the House's rule, in order to serve us, you must serve it on the sergeant at arms. We've been hearing around here that a computer operator was served. We don't know who is this computer operator. We don't know from which office it's working. How do we say we're served?
You talk about a sergeant army. You talk about a sergeant army, sir.
No, I didn't say army, sir. No, don't get it wrong. I said the person to serve our rule, it is a sergeant at arms.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what becomes of the chief clerk?
The office of the chief clerk does not have a computer analyst in her office. Is that what you're trying to say?
Do not insinuate for me. I will not allow you.
So what becomes
I just said to you, a computer operator, it is not a position within the legislature. Computer operator to which office? On the quote-unquote return I saw fly on Facebook, I did not see any office attached. It said computer operator to which office? So that is a question I will call you to find already.
So you saw the communication on Facebook? You saw the communication on Facebook?
Yes, I did.
So
how do we put quality
We expect the ruling to be in our favor, and we expect the law to vindicate us, that our action was legal, our action was consistent with the law, controlling the House of Representatives that is sustainable.
What if it is not in your favor? It could be your next action.
Yeah, remember this.
Were you accept your colleague?
I just said to you, pardon me?
Will you accept the embattled lawmaker?
It's not in battle, he's a former colleague. Let me say this to you. We are not, let me get this clear. We are not here to go against a colleague of us or one of us. No. We are only here to discharge the responsibility imposed on us. The virtue of the committee we serve. Are we understand what I'm saying there? We are here to discharge the responsibility imposed on us by virtue of the committee we serve. So we are not against any colleague. We are not driving any colleague away. But what I'm saying to you, parliamentarily, the former lawmaker of District Number 10 is been expelled, and in as soon as possible, there will be a communication sent to the National Elections Commission.
About that particular communication, is it because of what is unfolding here at the Supreme Court?
Pardon me?
Is it because of what's unfolding
So
here?
let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. How do I serve the communication when the three separate branches of government call for coordination? You expect me to serve the communication, then you come and criticize and say we are defined by the many of the courts. The first thing, if we do not have regard for the court, we will not come here. By our presence here, that speaks in volume that we are in conformity of it.
When do we accept the communication?
You said the sergeant of arms should be responsible for the receipt of communication at the House of Legislature. So what if it is established in the ruling that yes, indeed, the communication was served, but through the office of the chief clerk? What becomes of the House?
I don't want to speak like you. Sorry to say that. It is better we address the issue legally. There's a legal questions here. You are speaking, let me learn now. Let me listen to you. You are speaking from a hypothetical situation, and we are not come to conduct hypothetical tests here. It is a legal question that is presented whether or not the House of Representatives was served, yes or no. If it is yes, then what was the manner and form which the House was served that constituted that yes? If the answer is no, what is the form and manner and form in which the House is to be served? And get this clear, the Sergeant Act is not only for rate or precept from the courts. Under 26.5, it is clear. The Sergeant Arm receive all directory, all communications, all precepts, and also not only receive and take it to the White Chief Clerk. The Sergeant Arm also have the responsibility to receive from the office of the Chief Clerk for dispatchment in any offices you may think of through the length and breadth of this country. Let me say this to you. There's a former finance minister. Maybe I'm mistaken.
So, gentlemen, that's Representative James Kohler. He's the House Chair on Rules and Order. In fact, it was his committee that investigated Yeke Koluba and reported to plenary, and after which plenary took the decision to expel Yeke. He sounds like they've won the case. Is that the reality? Let me ask you.
Well, for just to be hypothetical, in the first case, yes, is a reality. But again, like you said, at every stage of our legal process, there are remedies. So Honorable Koluba lawyers have the right to take appeal to the full bench. And then after that, now that's the end of it. Once the full bench make a determination. But at this level, the justice in chambers has ruled that yes, the precept was not served properly. And I think we discussed that year before. And people came at us, oh, no, this is not, you can give it to anybody. But you know, the law remains the law. If you don't like the law, you petition the lawmakers to change the law. The saddest thing about it is that our procedural law far exceed our constitution validity. What do I mean by that? The civil procedural law and the criminal procedural law are far older than our constitution itself. So there are challenges, yes, within the civil procedural law that needs to be looked at, that needs to be rewritten to confirm with current day reality, to also confirm what the Constitution says. Because it's clear, like James Kohler said, section 3.38, it talks about service of precept on subdivision of the government. It's clear. So you cannot go to the legislature and give a precept from the Supreme Court to one computer operator and say that you have served the legislature. No. Once that goes to court, it will be defeated. And we said that here before. People say, no, that's not true. This is where we are. And the justice in chamber, you can say whatever you want to say, but he's one of the learned lawyers and justices in this country because he served as an associate justice. He served as a judge, and now he's serving as an associate justice. So he's gone through these things repeated time, wherein he's seen these precepts being challenged in court.
So is it possible? And before I go to George Kennedy, is it possible for the full bench, maybe after the lawyers of Yeke Koluba, since they've taken the flight, is it possible that the full bench could overturn that?
Well, there's anything possible within the law, but again, the full bench will be looking at precedent. The full bench will look at what the law says, what is the interpretation of that statute, what does the statute says about service of precept on a subdivision of the government. Does it say that you can serve it to anybody? Does it mean that tomorrow morning somebody can take the legislature to court and then you walk there and just see maybe the driver of the speaker and give it to him, and then you come back and say, the legislature has been served? No. So again, the court base its judgment on reasoning and the law, because there's something called the intent. What was the intent of this law? So if you don't look at the intent and just you'll be opening a huge roundabout. So the court will be very, very careful as to how it handles that particular part. But in that aspect now, once the full bench meets, Justice Kaba will now have to recuse himself because he's already passed on this matter. So it will be the other 4 justices that will meet to decide the fate.
So it's possible that they could overturn what is
yes.
Okay. Yes. Now you listen to the chair of the committee. What's your takeaway? Because he sounded as if the House of Representatives had won the case against Yeke.
You see, first thing we'll look at precedent cases. The legislature or that house, we witnessed other speakers being removed, and they were served. They honor the service. Speaker Snow, they went to court. Former Speaker Tyler, they went to court. Former Speaker Kofar, they went to court, right? So it means that those precepts were legally served, right? So what is more conflicting about this? I'd like to make it very plain for some people to understand. The same justice in chambers who served this precept is the one that ruling against it. Speaks to the fact that it could be very difficult for the full bench to overturn such, because this judge who served this precept has come to realize that it was wrongfully served, on the party, litigant. I don't know how you call party litigant.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah. So I'm interested in law. So I'm trying to learn from you guys. So it means that he chose his own court. He knew that something wrong went on. So look, I cannot blame these people. Looking at precedents in the past where they've honored all the services that were served them, all the precepts that were served them. This one, they are saying that they didn't see it, and looking at the return, here they say computer person in the office is enough. And he feels that, it was not safe. And under the law, my understanding with some people is that whenever a rate of search is not served to the rightful person, it's what? How do you call it? It's there, right?
Of course,
yeah, it's there, right? So I've heard some lawyers saying that, right? So it means that Representative Kule is sounding so overzealous, so happy because he knows these things. He's a student of law. I think he's in a law school or he has graduated.
I think he graduated.
Yeah, so he knows what he's talking about.
Okay, let me hold you there. Well, this one you listen to Representative Kule, and he was the one who, in fact, his committee was the committee that investigated Yeke Koluba, and finally submitted its report to the plenary, based on which the plenary voted and expelled Yeke. You heard him there right after the Supreme Court had handed down its, or the judge in Chambers handed down his ruling in that case, denying the bill of motion filed by Yeke Koluba and his team. Do you see any victory there for the House of Representatives?
Yeah, so it is just obvious that you do not need a magician to tell you that the horse has won the case against the Honorable Koluba. But this is why I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at it from a very social political perspective, given the fact that public office, if you do public administration, you understand that governance, it is governed or by what we call the raw materials. And the raw materials is nothing else but histories. So if you look at Liberia as a post-war democratic state, given the years of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf up to where we are right now, for a certain lawmaker who was constitutionally elected by the absolute vote of his constituency was, I don't want to say voluntarily removed, but he was brutally removed from his position. The verdict of the court that make this clear. That's why I said the horse may have won a case legally, but they have also lost the case what we call social politically. Right now, the court ruled that, oh yes, the proceeding was wrong in which the letter was served. But the court never ruled to say, oh, the manner and form in which the young man was expelled, whether it's wrong or not. So the rational question we should be asking ourselves is, was Honorable Koluba expelled the right way? It's not about what the court says, the proceedings through which the letter was served to pour hot to the process was miscalculated. But it is about the principal action that is being applied by the Honorable House of Legislature. That is what we should be looking at.
Okay, let me hold you there. Dave.
You know, when he said Yeke Koluba brutally removed, it reminds me about how Brandon Samakara brutally denied his seat when he won it in Lofa. But however, that is not my point. It's good that...
Then why did you bring it up?
No, I just try to reflect.
you trying to introduce moral equivalence because it happened, you say it should happen now?
No.
Dave?
Saba, don't drag me into
no, but
that.
I'm trying to bring in moral equivalence.
I just try to
because it happened yesterday.
No,
Brandon was denied. So Yeke should be denied as well.
I just try to be retrospective.
No, but you know, you're being retrospective here, it doesn't hold water here. No,
but then it doesn't hold water. Why give it relevance? Why give it credence? But the thing is, the lawyer came the right time. Had he not come, you know, it would have been a difficult thing to talk about someone who was not lawyers. But quite frankly, I listened to Cole vividly, clearly listened to him. And his argument, one doesn't have to be a lawyer, but just common sense. His argument, if a precept was served to the House, the leadership of the House of Representatives, who received it? That's the argument. That is, the proper person that's supposed to have received it or supposed to have been served that letter wasn't the person that received it, a computer person. And as far as the rules of the House are concerned, it's the chief clerk or the sheriff or sergeant that will receive it. But unfortunately, the person who delivered it must have not been guided properly. So he took it and just gave it to anyone that he met in the office. And so this is where, you know, Cole has capitalized on, or the leadership of the House of Representatives has capitalized. And this is why it's on that basis that Cole is talking with confidence, because you give it to the wrong person. You didn't give it to the rightful person. So Cole is confident that, in fact, you know, they've won. They've won no matter what happens. The letter, the communication was not served properly. It was served improperly. It's on that basis that they've taken the edge over Yeket, and Yeket has become a gun, except they understand they try to file in some, do you call it appeal?
Yeah.
To the full bench of the Supreme Court. Just common sense. And it's on that basis, whether social politically or whatever my man Desmond call it, the rules, the law is the law. The House of Representatives or the legislature has its own rules. Both Senate and House of Representatives, they have their own rules that guide them in terms of discipline, in terms of making sure the sanity or the sanctity of those two bodies are.
Just a point of information. You see, so that is why even a former president of our republic, Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, she said, "Look, it is advisable legislatively for the House to punish one of its own members, but the punishment must seek equilibrium, gravity of the offense being
What
committed."
determines?
So I come in. A certain lawmaker spoke his opinion. A group of people came out to say, okay, that opinion that is being spoken by that lawmaker, it is attributed to treasonous statement. Therefore, he warrants expulsion. Former president said, no, there still would have been a better ways for the lawmaker to have been disciplined. If that has been the purpose of his breach to their laws.
I don't think we should.
I come in. This is logic. This is logical reasoning.
Yeah, it could be logical reasoning to
reasoning.
you, but it may not be logical reasoning to the other people when you hold the show hostage. Remember, it was this time. You say a lot of things here that were compounded with a lot of flaws in it. We listen to you. Then you bring it with a same flaw analogy compared to Madam someone who spend money to remove speakers here. Someone who breach other lawmakers' rights here. We don't be bringing no kind of false analogy or
All right, so gentlemen, let me hold the three of these people and go to Moses. Moses, let's hear your thoughts. You listen to our Representative James Cole speaking to the media today, right after the Justice and Chambers ruled in the case regarding Yeke Koluba and the House of Representatives. What's your takeaway?
When I saw what happened at the Temple of Justice today, I kept asking myself, why all the complications? They be wrapped. This wasn't done this way, so it means it wasn't done. Procedure, we can say House worn to death because Justice Intima acknowledged that a precept was set on the wrong person. But now the question that comes is the action taken against the lawmaker, the expulsion, was it legal? I'm sure that's going to be another challenge. Because who signed the petition but never voted. You have lawmakers who did not sign the petition but they voted. You have a lawmaker who was abroad that was never in session. She used a proxy to sign the petition. Does that make it? So things that could be, and I hope that the full bench will take this into consideration. Now, something I want to say regarding individual uncle to the house and the country. Someone I'm doing myself.
The sound from you, there's a cracking bite, feedback, I think, from yourself.
All right.
Yeah.
It's okay now. So, okay. I don't know what's going on. But what I wanted to say here is that, look, nobody on this show can tell us that in the past, all precepts from the Supreme Court said on the House, all the precepts went through the very procedures we're talking about now. It must be said, or how you call it, the sergeant. I cover the legislature. When I was there, they had a reception center on the first floor. When communication came, people who receive those. I cannot say, well, those communications were said wrongly or not, but I'm only saying that when we become too bureaucratic, that can really make things even. I was talking to you, let me use myself as an example. Recently, I was set a precept because my vehicle was in a motor accident. I was headed to work, I ran the light into somebody. After a year, the person had a lawsuit against my insurance company for $75,000. I came from work. The court has said that the Superior Court of Delaware said me precept. Guess what? We'll receive it. It was my father-in-law.
Of course.
But I say I didn't receive it. I think that's why I have an address. All they needed to prove, the sheriff needed to prove that I have an address. I received the communication and forwarded that to the insurance company, and that matter was resolved. So I'm saying this to say that to make the claim that, oh, well, the student did not receive it, even though you have records that show that someone who was received that communication to argue on that basis, I don't know. Oh, but the way we're proceeding in Liberia, I don't know. Let me just stop there. I don't know.
Okay, so let me just come in with that. Personal service is a bit different from service on a subdivision of the government. Is a bit different on a service on a corporation or so. Now, for personal service, like you rightly said, they know your address. So if you cannot be found, the sheriff can take that particular precept to your house. And if there's an adult, somebody above the age of 18, they can receive that service on your behalf. Your wife can receive that service on your behalf. It will be believed that because your wife or your son or you is domiciled in that same residence, and it's possible that wherever when you will return to that particular residence, you will see that particular precept. So it is believed that they have legal authority to represent you. Also, your lawyer, your counselor, your lawyer can receive a precept on your behalf. That's personal service. When it comes to service on an institution, it's a different ball game.
That's different process.
Of course,
Different process.
when it comes to service on a subdivision of the government, it's clear. The civil procedure lay out one by one service on a corporation. Who can receive a service on behalf of a corporation? Who can receive a service on behalf of a subdivision of the government? It's clear. So this is where I think, however we put it, we could have said it was maybe an error on the part of the ministerial officer, the marshal who took the precept, because again, I heard Honorable Koluba shouting, the person
No,
who's
we are about to
serving,
play his reaction.
No, but I just want to come in. But one thing that we need to know, common service, the ministerial officers, in as much as they are signed under the code, but they work for the executive branch of government.
Okay.
So the sheriff, the bailiffs, and so they work for the, and that's what confused a lot of people, because they see them wearing these clothes and going out there, they are executive officers. That's why they call them peace officers.
Okay.
That's a different
All
discussion.
right, let's try to get a tape. Let's try to get a reaction from Yeke Koluba. Like I said, I think he was traveling today when the media caught up with him. Let's hear what he had to say.
Ordinary passport?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I don't know which passport. Why?
Welcome. You're also, where are you headed?
I'm on my way to Ghana.
Okay, your case today, the ruling was on today, just ended the court denied your bill of information.
When Joseph Boakai Lele is going to the country. Look, the Supreme Court have been serving paper on our house. The marshal know how to serve paper. So if it is today that the marshal don't know how to serve paper, it's up to them. You think I react here? Let Joseph Boakai go in the country. Joseph Boakai does not own this country. This country is owned by the Liberian. Joseph Boakai, please leave the road, bossman. I gotta go. Joseph Boakai has decided to rob this country. Joseph Boakai is a common criminal, and he thinks he was for the justice system of this country. So it is today that the Supreme Court don't know how to serve.
We're not going to listen to that. We just thought that it could be somehow civil to react. But Dave, what do you make of his reaction?
Well, it signals insanity, because anybody who is sane, thank God we also have
mental health
a mental health specialist, Moses, who.
So what is the insanity in his reaction?
The first thing they're talking about, a matter in court.
Mm-hmm.
What does Joseph Boakai have to do with that? Is it Joseph Boakai that told the man who carried the priesthood to serve the wrong person? Is it Joseph Boakai that ruled that denied his bill of? He was suspected. This is the same Yeke Koluba. The same journalists are asking, and I say, I want you to level, you're damn stupid. I'm sorry for repeating that. So such a person is not normal. He's not normal. He needs to visit a psychiatrist.
Moses here with you.
He needs to visit a psychiatrist to determine what's happening to him. You need to go to a mental home. And this is what makes this show, this particular nighttime show, it's one of the very lucky shows, because we have a lawyer and we have a psychiatrist or a mental health specialist on the show. So maybe more.
So you say he deviated from the question?
Deviated from the question asked.
All right, let's go.
Deviated from that.
Desmond, let's hear from you.
Well,
Yeke Koluba's reaction.
Any typical and a patriotic Liberian, Sabo, upon watching or listening to the voice of Honorable Koluba, there is one thing that you are reminded of, and that is a hopeless voice crying out for truth in the midst of political manipulations. You listen to Koluba referencing on the manner and form through which the dispatching officer of the court, who is also a member of the executive branch of the government, who's supposed to be well and knowledgeable, fully inclined as to how these precepts are served to the various institutions, either corporate institutions or government institutions or civilians. Or this very same officer went and dispatched a letter. But what it can be described, what of the action can be described as intentional, that was the quote, in my honest view.
I'm asking you about the reaction of Yeke Koluma.
And that is what I'm saying, Sobo. So I that describe the reaction of Yeke. I said, it is that hopeless voice crying out for truth in the midst of political manipulations.
Do you agree with Tagba when he said he sees insanity?
No. How can a voice, a hopeless voice that is crying out for truth be an insane tune to listen to? So it is a total contradiction from what Tagba perceives.
This guy interesting.
You understand that? This man is not just an ordinary citizen.
Yeke want to ask him. Yeke, yes, he responded. He spoke to the issue by saying, well, his reaction spoke to the issue concerning what happened in the courts, but then he went further by trying to throw jabs or use some invectives against the president. You think does that resemble insanity in the voice of anyone?
But accusing the president of manipulating his expulsion? Of course, Yeke probably is. Wisdom could perceive which is his right to think that the government is after him, and maybe that could have influenced the fact that upon the president arrival into the country, right at the Rabos International Airport, he was quizzed, or better still asked by a journalist, that Mr. President, given your 48 years of experience in government, that this has never happened for a certain lawmaker to be expelled just by expressing his opinion that has been attributed to treasonous, statement. Why? Many Liberians think that this shouldn't happen under your watch, given your experience. And what was the president's response? The president said, things that didn't happen before will happen. Okay. And right after that, the following day, Yeke was expelled.
Okay, so let me leave you there. Edwin, let us hear from you. You listen to Yeke.
So basically, I think Honorable Koluma again missed out on some very interesting. He missed out on a very interesting point. The matter of fact that your lawyers have taken flight to the full bench of the Supreme Court, I think he should have remained mute and say, my lawyer has taken the matter before the full bench. I reserve every comment until the final argument is made before the court. But when you go out there and start to throw jabs at the court and trying to drag the presidency into it, it makes no sense. Let's be candid here. Except elementarily, people don't understand the separation of powers. The court is separate. The judiciary itself is separate and distinct from the executive branch of government. The executive doesn't give order to the court. The executive doesn't give order to the legislature. Article 38 is clear. It's clear as to what is the process of expelling a member from the legislature. It's clear. It didn't say through the message of the president, or if the president doesn't visit us, it says based on two-thirds majority vote of their member for a cause. It did not go to the extent to explain the cause. Now, some of the things that even before in our legislature, or that is actually affecting the same people within that building, the same constitution gave them the right to make laws. So if you feel that there are portions of the constitutions that are conflicting or that are ambiguous, it is your duty to make sure that it's clearly defined, it's clearly written out there, so that when decisions are being taken, those decisions will conform with current reality. But as it is, it's an open blanket. Anybody can get up tomorrow and say, look, we don't like the way Famole dressed to come to the Capitol building. He coming with, gown on him that made him look like some Arab male or so. And if you can get two-thirds majority vote, then they go into a plenary and give me due process. Famole come and explain why you dressing some Arab, and I go there and they are not satisfied with my interpretation or from what I'm saying to them. If they can get a resolution, they can put on the floor and vote me out.
Okay, now in reaction to Yeke's
comment,
David used a very strong word when Yeke, started to throw some jabs against the president. Do you agree with you, David, that Yeke apparently was suffering from some aberrations?
Well, I wouldn't say he's suffering from insanity. I would look at it as being frustrated. I would look at it as being angry because, and again, this is Yeke style politicking. We've seen that over time. This is not the first time Yeke is, actually out there insulting government officials. He did it to former President Weah. He did it to Madam Joa Howard Taylor. So what makes us think that he wouldn't have done it to President Boakai? So this is Yeke's style of politicking.
Okay.
But when you go before the law, when you have matters pending before the court, allow the law to have its course. Do not go in there and start throwing jabs or even the court itself. How will you be insulting the court and you want for the court to go and sit and hear a matter on your behalf?
Okay, let's go there. Moses, you listen to Yeke Koluba. What's your takeaway?
Very interesting. I would like to begin. I heard Mr. Chan refer to the Honorable Yeke Koluba as insane. I think that's a very strong word to use. That disparaging. Who is insane? When we speak about sanity and retardation, what does that mean? It means the person lacks the ability to differentiate between fantasy and reality. And that's not Yeke Koluba. If you sit and talk to Yeke, he will be able to connect with you. He knows his needs. He knows what is happening in the country. So it means that God doesn't live in outer space. He's not delusional. Yeke Koluba is not insane. Someone is insane to do rational thinking. The person doesn't understand what is happening around his or her surrounding. The person is insane. So said that what I want you to learn tonight is that Yeke Koluba, or the Honorable Yeke Koluba, is currently struggling with what we call loss and greed. What is loss? When something goes missing. Greed, your reaction to the loss. The man was removed. A well-paying job with benefits. That's a significant loss. And his response is the greed. In a situation like that, people go through phases of loss and greed. First is what we call denial. Yeke Koluba doesn't accept that it's no longer coming. He's still at that denial stage. It's like when someone hears the news about the death of a relative, the person will say, "Oh no, that's not true." First phase is going to transition to the anger phase, and that's where Yeke Koluba is. Yeke Koluba is angry, whether we like it or not. It's in the public domain that the executive masterminded Yeke Koluba's expulsion. So when he called the name of the president, he's angry because he is the president masterminded his removal. Don't forget, Daniel Sando went publicly and said, "We remove him." Who does he speak for? The executive. The executive has never disclaimed that. So Yeke is angry. Yeke is going to transition to another state agony. That is when the person is acting what he or she could have done to prevent the tragedy. So when you sit and talk to Yeke Koluba will tell you, say, what could I have done to prevent these people from expelling me? If I had changed my behavior, things would have been a little bit different. Then after that, Yeke Koluba is going to transition to the next phase of loss and grief, what we call depression, the isolation, loneliness, extreme sadness, losing a job, loss of appetite, loss of sleep, all those things will begin to happen to Yeke. And the next phase of the healing process with acceptance, where Yeke will get to understand that, hey, this is beyond my control. This thing here is no joke. It is real. I can no longer love makers. I need to move on with my life. So Yeke is going through that phases.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I think you. So, are you saying that because of what he's going through or his experience now, that he can't even fathom as to after the fact that he has lost the job?
Just can't believe it.
Does that justify his reaction? His words he used? Does that justify that?
Anyone with mental specialist, mental health specialist sitting and talking with Yeke Koluba will empathize with his situation. We will know that his acting is on the current situation he's dealing with. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. I want to differ with Mr. Sandy on this. I don't know what's the difference between Yeke Koluba's interview at the airport and his past interviews when he was still sitting as a lawmaker. No difference. That's Yeke Koluba. He's been like that since he entered the House. That's his history. That's why when some people say he's suffering from insanity, they're not mental health specialists. But you and I, it's unarguable that that's Yeke Koluba's normal behavior. The action he shows at the airport just follow him since he became member of the House. So his action was not influenced by the decision taken against him by his colleague. In session, the man will go start BlackBerry on his way. He said, stay on the decks. He does a lot of things in the place there. So, Mr. Sandy, probably you have not been following it. I agree. I know your specialty. If you speak in relation to the day you are spared to now, you want to judge him from there, I will agree with you. But if you judge him since he started knowing in the House, what he's been doing, then you will say, no, that's his normal behavior. But I want to give some historical facts here, because someone said, Madam Salif said it never happened before they remove people that expel people from the House. We are young people. Excuse me.
No, you gotta.
Excuse me, please.
Excuse me, please. Someone will allow you to.
No, I just want to.
You see, Chair Chipo. Senator Chair Chipo was removed in the 1970s.
For what?
You understand? Now, the cost, if I wanted to do the whole research, probably, but it's a research only for you. Bidefan, the late, was removed from the Liberian Senate because he and Bronskin, the Senate pro tempore, the late, had issues. He said, Councillor Bronskin said Bidefan insulted him. When Councillor Bronskin was pro tempore of the Senate, he was expelled. Ditwe was expelled in 1927 from the Senate for advocating for Native people. The whole thing is history of Liberia. People need to know these things. Now, this thing is a national crisis on bowl of crisis that had to do with the sovereignty of Liberia. I know one is more grave that we need to tell our audience and sit and explain to them that another country infringe on your territorial integrity. You, the lawmaker, a state actor, elected and took oath to protect and defend the Constitution of Liberia. You say that particular land is not for Liberia, for that country. In fact, that president in that country is your friend. From day one, I told you people say Yeke is an enemy of the state. I didn't hardly, and I still stand by it. And what happened to him, I have no regret about it. If someone can be removed for fighting for my cause, native, as a native man, and he was expelled from the Liberian Senate in 1927, It shows us that we still have to go do research as librarians to know what happened yesterday, so we can compare to what happening today, so we know we'll be able to provide a historicity to our people to know these things.
Okay, you wanted to come in quickly?
Yes, so
because we have to transition.
Just one thing we got to establish very clearly. I continue to say this, and I maintain that I personally, as a librarian, so it's good to always say this, to set the kind of disclaimer, so that the people who listen to us, who believe in us, can be able to understand that we are not anti, figures to the state. When we support any lawmaker or any citizen, be it that matter, who wants to undermine the sovereignty of our state. But I continue to say, just as Liberia, as a democratic state, it is governed by laws. There are prescribed laws through which a certain lawmaker can be expelled. If whatever that was said by Honorable Koluba, and it is investigated properly, legally, and it is established that can be attributed to treason, which is a very grave, allegation, then of course the horse can take their action. But this is the man who, up to now, still believes that what was applied was illegal and for which he had filed in through the court.
So that's
now the court come in.
No,
the court,
I think to me, wait.
Now the court ruled not into his complaint file. That's the complete file of specificity.
Did you read the bill of information?
Of course I did.
Well, why it says? Why it say that?
Was to halt the process.
No. You see, we will not allow you to come on the radio while we are here.
No,
for me. No, listen to me. I'm not a lawyer.
Okay,
before a lawyer can come in. Before a lawyer can come in, I'm not a lawyer. But the thing is common sense practice.
Okay, what is it?
What you know what? It always a bill of information. You want to go find out what these people say they have removed me, and you sent the precept for them to stop. And you understand?
Yeah.
Whether that precept hold or not. That's the bill of information they filed. They didn't go pray for sale order.
Injunction?
They didn't go pray for injunction. No.
So George. So what happened first? You see, that's why I keep saying these things are not done with sentiments or trying to get some political interest or so. So Honorable Koluba, when the process started, Honorable Koluba were given due process. He decided not to go through that due process. He and his lawyer walked out. His colleagues continued with the process and they came to a conclusion. He ran to the Supreme Court on a writ of prohibition to stop his colleague from taking the actions. At that time, when the precept was served, which precept was wrongly served, the decision has already been made by his colleague to move forward to plenary, and plenary came up with a decision.
You filed a different motion.
So no. Just listen to me. Let me just.
So
it was based on the writ of prohibition that he went back to court to petition the court that while this process was going on, you sent a writ of prohibition, and my colleague decided not to follow that particular writ of prohibition. So I've come back to you guys to explain to me
what are the actions
they took. It was right or it was wrong. So the court came back and say, based on the information that we received from the both parties, because when you file a writ before the court, they invite the two parties, they invite the lawyers to come and argue. The committee lawyer said that, Your Honor, we didn't receive any precept. The process of receiving a precept at the legislature is X, Y, and Z.
And you are
and
aware.
none of these things happen, and you are aware.
Yeah.
All right? And then they went for the sheriff return. And on the back of the sheriff return, because when the sheriff serves you a precept, the sheriff have to make a return. On the back of that sheriff return, it was received by the computer clerk. Which made the particular precept being void. In fact, under the law, they call it void ab initio, meaning that it didn't even happen at all, because once it's not served properly, it's not served at all.
So, Council, can I ask you
so
one
this
question?
one has nothing to do with what
Council, can I ask you one question?
Yes, quickly.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Council, I'm not asking you as a lawyer.
Go ahead.
That's why initially I said the horse may be right legally.
Ask a question, my man.
So-
I'm not equally
I
speaking immorality. I'm,
No,
I'm speaking based on what the law
I need
says.
an honest opinion as a patriotic.
No, I
Just ask
speak.
your question.
I speak as to what the law says.
Yeah.
It is not about no. And you see, and you see, this is why we always get involved. Whenever we bring sentiment into these things, whenever you bring sentiment into these things, then you are traversing from the legal aspect of it.
Not sentiments.
Yeah, go
Also,
ahead.
Even before you could be a lawyer, you are a librarian. You are a citizen.
I've always
Are
been
you?
a Liberian. I've always been.
Good.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. I want to ask you as a librarian,
Mm-hmm.
considering the entire display of action carried out from the state of Genesis, involving the entire Yeke Koluba expulsion. In your honest opinion and description, was it legally applied? And was it legally applied and morally upright?
Jesus.
I said it here, I said it here repeated time, and I read Article 38 to you. What the law says, what the Constitution says. That's not how you feel. That's not how I feel. That's not how George feels. That's what the law says. The law says a member of that house can be expelled based on a cause.
The cause is
The
not
law
FPO.
did not go further to explain what the cause is. And I said it. If I, Edwin Famule, I'm a lawmaker today, and I dress like a Muslim man let me not even go there. And I dress like an Arab man every day with my hair tie and go to that Capitol building. And to tell majority of my colleagues, say, we don't like the way how you Family dress, you come here. And then they session me to an investigation to whatever
In line with the rules.
committee, in line with the rule. The law says you give me due process. And they call me to go and sit there and explain why are you dressing this way. And I go there, even if I do not give any justifiable reason why I'm dressing this way. If they come up with a resolution to expel me, that expulsion stands. That's what the Constitution says.
Okay.
I don't have to cause anybody man. I don't have to steal for anybody. But it says for a cause. If you don't like the law, like Justice General always say, change the law.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Listen to I'm here to Rated on Prime FM 105.5. We are streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Just want to share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow on what's happening tonight on the program. Our colleague Yusuf Sharif, we understand, lost his auntie today, and so he couldn't be here. Our condolences to you, Sharif, wherever you are. Yes, Moses, quickly.
Yeah, I just wanted to provide information before we transition. It has to do with the late Senator B. Khan. B.F. Khan from the Liberian trustees.
Mr. Your background, the sound you're breaking. I already want to listen to it. You're breaking.
Then let me go out and come back. Maybe something. Let me go out.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so gentlemen, we have to move forward. Just a breaking news. We understand that the president has submitted a bill to establish a national anti-corruption court and a world economic crimes court. The two proposed pieces of legislation are an act establishing a world economic crimes court and also a corruption court. Okay. Before we can go further, gentlemen, let's hear from the both of from all of you. First, begin with you, Edwin. Is that a laudable move on the part of the president?
It is, and that was the intent of the president establishing the office of the
Ombudsman.
No, the office of the World Economic Crime Court. Yeah. So the bill itself that were submitted to the president for onward submission to the legislature came from the office of the World Economic Crime Court. And I think it's laudable. Corruption remains one of the medicine in our society. So whatever is being proposed now to the legislature when enacted is not going to be to wish on other people who are served before. Because in fact, in our jurisdiction, law are not retroactive. Right. Yeah. So I think it's good. And we've seen with all of these whole holobalu on, I know we talk about the whole Samuel Tue case and
Yes,
so forth.
sure.
But again, if you can sit back and just analyze the importance of the establishment of this court and how this court is going to be structured, what makes it different from the present criminal code C processes, because under our legal jurisdiction, criminal code C is actually the assassins that is
for economic
responsible for economic crime, for money laundering, and and so forth.
financial crime. Yeah.
We need to look at what is the composition of this new court. For the issue of war crimes, I think this is laudable, not only for us, but even for the international community. People have long been waiting to see a closure to what happened here. There are people who they believe have committed atrocities. Some of these people have died and passed on. We still have some of them still walking the corridors of power in Liberia. We still have some of them visibly seen. The scar that they have created on other people is still being seen around here. I went to one of the deliberation at the World Economic Crime Court. I was invited at the office of the World Economic Crime Court to just listen. And so it was heartbroken to know that the amount of mass graves that we have in this country, if we start to even just count them, it was like somebody was just replaying the war years to me, because when I was sitting and there were people, there were women, older people, explaining the horrors. Some of them still living with bullet wounds. Some of them still living with bullets in their bodies today. And these people are still alive. And they say to us, but we see the people who perpetrated this harm on us, and we see them. They're walking around. We've seen some of these people who raped our children in front of us, who murdered our husband. So I think it's laudable. Sometimes people say, oh, let us reconcile, let us move forward. But look, we need to have a closure.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear from you. What do you think?
So please support me. Let me go to
what does it speak about the government's effort to fighting corruption, especially with this latest development, establishing the anti-corruption commission code and all of that?
Firstly, this particular project was a campaign promise, and a major one too. This definitely shows that, in spite of other challenges, this country is moving forward. I want to know, maybe Mr. Attorney,
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
A few months from now, I will have my mom.
Okay, so
I'll be called to
maybe
the
Mr.
bar.
Famula can come here, because the origin of the war, the historicity starts from 1979.
Yeah.
All right. So is this War and Economic Crime Court going to give chance to try cases from that time to now? I don't know. So that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Will the Economic Crimes Court also give way to try economic crimes from that time until now? That's what I want to see, because if that happens, definitely, I tell you, no joke, the country is going to shake, not from the negative trend, positive, and when it shakes, when it sits back as a country.
It sits back for good.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear from you, David.
Yeah, someone said that in his family, George said that it was one of the major campaign promises. So that nation fulfillment of those promises. That's how some Liberians can call people talk and do. It's not about campaigning and saying things to impress the people, but actualizing what you've promised. And that is what has manifested. President Baka promised the Liberian people that, look, I will make sure that those who wantonly kill people will be brought to justice, will be held accountable, and they will not go free.
Now, go ahead.
On the issue of the war crimes or the corruption court, look, Sabot, all of us know that it's because of corruption that some of the issues we are addressing, our governments are addressing now, they are addressing it. They're supposed to have, some of those issues to be addressed ever since decades away.
Electricity,
For
running
instance,
water.
electricity. Roads not
Roads.
living from Moravia straight to Maryland. You can drive freely.
Wow.
So if we had this kind of policies or system or rigidity in attacking these kind of dishonesties in public service, those monies that were siphoned, people used to enrich themselves and build their own buildings today, government even renting some of those buildings. I mean, telling they wouldn't have been talking about roads.
Okay.
Would have been talking about building roads in the sky.
Okay, let's read it
Yeah.
that way. Desmond, you heard the what I just read, the breaking that the government has that the president has submitted bills to set up an economic crimes and economic crimes court and a corruption court as well. Is that laudable, you think?
Yes. So this is my take on this. Corruption is a disease, and it got to be fought strongly. I do support the fact that the government needs corruption code, and I hold a view to objection that at this time, for the government to heavily invest in war crime courts, considering the fact that the very same government is trying to reconcile the country. We watched some part of last year, the reburial of several other world leaders, former presidents who were brutally murdered during our civil, crisis. So, I mean, it's good, but the objection of establishing a war crime court at this time.
Your objection, yeah.
I'm saying the objection is the decision of establishing a war crime court at this time, while it is a priority for Liberians. That is my concern. A lot of Liberians ask about corruption. Yes, everybody will support corruption because corruption has been a disease. But government heavily going to invest into, estimated proposed amount of around 2 million, of state resources just into the establishment of war crimes code and that of economic.
So you don't think that is timely now?
I don't think that is a top priority that the government should invest into heavily, with the confronting challenges about what we call economic stability, about local commodity prices. Even up to now, there are still reports about the sack of water.
Okay, let's read it. Moses, what's your take? I just read this breaking that the government is, the president has submitted a bill to establish the War and Economic Crimes Court and also corruption court as well to track corruption cases, to fast track corruption cases. Let's hear from you, Moses. What's your take on that?
I think it is a good beginning. It is indeed a good beginning. People need to be held accountable. And let me just come from the mental health perspective here regarding the war crime court. In mental health, there's what we call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Post means after being exposed to the brutal murder of a relative, seeing a relative of yours being beheaded, being shot on the poles like those people, being physically abused, emotionally abused. So the T stands for what? From anything, that impacts your life in a negative way. Dealing with it. The stress, the depression, the anxiety that comes with that, and then the D, which we call the disorder, it means as a result of those situations, the ability to function as a normal person is impaired. There are a lot of people with PTSD in Liberia. Can you imagine? And let me use this guy as a graphic example. Odniki, who was seen literally murdering people in huge numbers. Can you imagine relatives of those people that were murdered? And today they sit and listen to this man on the radio boasting about military might. Do you know what it means to them? the pain, the agony. I've seen somebody who did that. This person is walking the streets of Monrovia free. The same people who put in prominent positions, they make the choices. There are a lot of former warlords. When people see these things, they bring back what we call nightmare, the misery, the difficulties to live on, the hopelessness that comes with that. So I think it is good for people to be held accountable. The culture of impunity has got to stop in Nigeria.
Okay.
So let me
Thank you.
My brother here and myself probably might have been in the same age, but probably he has not read the history of this country. He hasn't followed the history of this country. And those of us who are our parents, some of them went through the violent political system. You know, when we hear people like this talk, it becomes emotional to us. You know, for a young man to sit and say this is not the time, I will ask him, have you read history? Have you heard about a country called Bosnia? Have you heard about a country called Kosovo? There were people who committed war crimes. They were in their 90s. They were taken to court. They were put behind bars. Do you know what that does? It set a precedent. You think Sierra Leone, you think the Sierra Leoneans were not as sympathetic as we are? But the reason for these things is that it serves as a precedent so other people will not come out and think that the only way to state power is to take guns and go and kill people in villages and then come back and beat your chest. And then after a few years, you say, oh, you know what? That's not a priority because we're coming to spend $2 million. Come on, man. We need not to sit on this radio. People put their time, their resources. I was part of that process because the Bible invited me numerous times. People came from the interior, from the villages, and people were giving accounts of massacres. And I had a personal interaction when I was a son at Bush Road at my office.
You get very emotional. Man.
No. Because sometimes when young people say these things, they don't know the effect. There are people who sit in listening to you and say, you know what, then leave it. Tomorrow, a group of librarians could get up again and say,
well, let me hold you there. Let me hold you there. Yes.
Let me just give you my encounter.
Also,
and this is a personal stuff that I saw. 2 years ago, when I was a son at my Bush Road office, there's a place called the Ghana Chalk Bar right on the Bomber Bridge.
I know that. Yeah.
I used to go to.
I went there before. I ate there before.
Yes. So this day, a colleague of mine called Rebrapo. You know, he always loved for us to go and eat.
The footballer, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, the football goalkeeper. Yeah. So we're sitting eating. There was two ladies sitting right beside us. This gentleman walked in with his bag and sat, and we're eating. When the guy went into the Ghana Chalk Bar, I watched the other lady, her whole demeanor change. And then she started crying. Then her friend asked her, what's going on? You know, we all got concerned because something happened. And she narrated the story to us. I was there with Rebabu. She said, that guy who just entered, he killed my father in front of me, raped my mother, and abused me. She said, look at him. Yeah. She said, I wanted to take something and just waste it on him. We hold her also. And then we interviewed the guy. And he agreed. He said, yes. So I asked him, I said, what was your name during the war? He said, I think they call him Chinese Japo. They were somewhere around the Bomber area or so. Imagine that lady living with that grief.
Now, gentlemen, so this is the situation. Let's try to improve. Yes, because he made reference to what.
Yeah, a few seconds. So this is the thing. I know that a lot of people probably may have thought that, oh, look, Desmond is actually against the government establishing war crime. Cool, I listen to my brother. No, that is not the point.
No, it's not the time. The money too much.
Time.
So which time is the best time?
Come in. Every government has a competing priorities. And as part of this government agenda, if you look at even the strategic 5-year plan that the government launched, you will see that very clearly about much emphasis on stable electricity.
Did you use the rule of law? No, there's nothing there called rule of law. There's nothing there called stable electricity.
No electricity there.
The arrest, they don't call for electricity. It's arrest.
the arrest agenda gave birth to the national development plan of the country that was launched.
I went to the launch of that agenda in Buchanan. There's nothing that got electricity in DRT. You're not aware.
No, but you cannot tell me. Look,
it talked about agriculture, rule of law, sanitation. So what
that's the arrest agenda you are talking about. I'm saying that after the arrest agenda is the president's vision.
I know.
After the Russian government came to power,
there's the
they
ARD.
adopted the ARD.
Yeah.
On that ARD plan, that strategic plan, there are pillars of that plan that talks about infrastructure.
Development agenda.
So,
No, 1 minute, please. 1 minute.
So this is it. The law. It is good for every citizen to account for their actions. That is fair enough.
Yeah, but
I understand that there are Liberians coming who are still living with the emotional pain.
So there's not time, right?
No, I'm coming. I understand that some Liberians who are still living with the emotional pain from the civil crisis, and there's a need for psychosocial counseling to be more applied. But I'm saying, it's at the right time. Let's ask ourselves. The president, this government just had a program last year, 2025, July 5. What the president himself offered a voluntarily, well, decisive apology on behalf of the Liberian people. That which it is laudable. Now that the very same government said, okay, let's establish the World Crime School at the very moment.
I beg you, let me just say something straight.
All right, I'll come in. Moses come in.
Yeah,
Moses come in. 1 minute. Moses.
It's not going to be.
You want to represent the country, move forward.
Yeah, let me just say something quickly. Look, one of the reasons why addiction in Liberia is so pervasive is because of what? PTSD.
Yeah, I agree with you, Moses. Yeah.
That's why. If someone was murdered in his services as a child, and that person had no counseling, no support services, the person tends to what? Substance use. That's what we call self-medication. It means when the person is high on crack cocaine, the person doesn't recognize that he lost his mind. Temporary relief, the person is putting a band-aid over the problem. When the person gets sober, the person recognizes that his mother was murdered. What does he do? He goes back again to the ghetto. And that's why you see people running in and out.
Of course.
PTSD is one of the key causations why people are using substances. So we need to know that.
Okay, now, gentlemen, I come in, George. It's good to set up the War and Economic Crimes Court. I mean, that has been the concerns even of the international community as well.
Of course.
This aspect is long overdue. But I actually remember when the whole aspect of people being held accountable for their actions during our past, bit of history. There was the issue of, that was also introduced, the Palaver Halt reconciliation model, right? Now, that is still enshrined in that TRC document.
Report, of course.
It's in that report. Now, going for the establishment, it's good that the president has passed the bill, but aren't we trying as a country? Aren't we about to dig the old wounds because we hurt individuals? Some, in fact, are still in the parliament, in the House of Representatives, in the Senate,
in the legislature.
In the legislature.
Yeah.
They are there. Is it possible that they're going to affix that signature to that document for it to become a law? Besides, we heard a statement of individuals or an individual saying, I will contribute X amount. or I contributed X amount. I think they said it in the TRC report. Break down the executive mansion. Gentlemen,
That's not person have a name.
where are we heading now?
No, that is on you to go view the reports.
Fine.
That is on you to go view the
Now,
reports.
where are coming? Where are we heading? Don't you think the issue of the Palava Hot reconciliation process would do the trick than calling General Bob naked, calling maybe a few others are in the legislature, calling those who say I'll contribute the X amount of money, break down there. Now, gentlemen, where are we heading as a country? This is a small country, Liberia.
So, let me first of all say, sometimes it's good for people to read these instruments. And some of us have taken our time to go through these things. The TRC report is in two phases.
Very good.
The TRC report says there's a mechanism for retribution. There's a mechanism for reconciliation, which is the Palava Hot stuff. The TRC also made recommendations specifically for people who are supposed to be prosecuted because of their contribution or the role that they play in the conflict. It's clear. It's clearly stated. So let us not say, because we want to do it. Look, the consistency of Liberian being saying that, we are a small country, or that leaders, it has led to where we are today. The issue of impunity, irrespective of how we see it, whether we open the old wounds, there can be no reconciliation without justice. There's nowhere in the world that you have seen genuine reconciliation without justice. In fact, the two of them go hands in hands. There should be justice before reconciliation. And the reason for that is that, and I keep saying it, you want to set the caveat so the next generation will not come and repeat the scene.
Let me hold you there.
You myself are dead and gone.
Let me hold you there. George, your take on that.
Thank you. The reason why things prices are high coming from the economic front, right? The reason why things are so high and not moving on the Liberian people is because few powerful people sitting somewhere. This is perennial problem in the country's history. They sat there using the country's money at their own discretion. We were here yesterday discussing about
the news conference.
The news conference between the three institutions, heads of the talk about unauthorized withdrawal of money, not from government account, but government transitory accounts. This bank collect money, so we deposit it to central bank in the government account. The money can go there. Somebody go withdraw in the government account. The last time when Councillor Jerome Vrede appeared here, he said, and I quote, "The criminal justice system in Liberia right now, criminal code, the quote, is limited in trying corruption cases."
Of course.
All the charges they can get for economic sabotage, they are limited in trying those cases. While most of the time, the results can be against the state or not going well, and the country remains like that. For me, when someone says something that certainty, I don't remember all, but that certainty I can remember. So this quote, I don't want to go by the way 1980 to grab my father to put him down and say he had AB trouble to cut off his 2 years of life. I don't want to go by there to go discuss how some of my family got killed, other things. I'm living here today because of the grace of God as a Christian. But I can tell you for sure, justice is critical to developing this country, to making sure that our monies are available to build roads, to build our physical infrastructure, like even housing and other things in this country. If we say every time, it's not the time, war ended in 2003 to now that 23 years. We say not the time.
Okay, let me hold you there.
So
that's one.
10, 50, that would be a time.
So, I mean, you were very definite when you asked as to whether Liberia as a country, whether it is even possible for the national legislature to even pass this very same bill. These are some of our concerns. The government should not be in a position to contradict itself. If a government will want to say, okay, we will force on a journey of national reconciliation and healing, or which the president will have to make a national apology, offer a national apology to all Liberians for all those who took part into the war, for the atrocities and the catastrophe that has been committed or created. He apologized on behalf of that. Then the same government said, okay, no, they established the war crime code. So it's just like the government in other words saying the apology the president made, don't take that personal. Because the president will not apologize on behalf of everybody who committed crimes during the war. And then the same president established, or the same government under his signature, so we're going to establish a code to come and prosecute the very same people that you apologize for.
Yeah, Saba, may
No, come here. Hello. We got to be honest to the discourse.
Mhm.
You understand? I continue to say that it is not that so bad for citizens to account for their actions, especially those actions, carried out during the dark days of our country history.
Okay, Dave, quickly.
Someone just talked about the 2 layers of the TRC report, talking about reconciliation, then the need for the establishment of a war crime court to hold accountable people who unnecessarily or senselessly kill people. These are the ideas Desmond then provided the past regime. This kind of weak analysis, this kind of weak
But
analysis.
was he associated with past regime?
That's a wide range of allegations of which he cannot better sustain it.
How was he associated?
There's no evidence or traceable record that Desmond has no association with past regime.
You never had to join them, but you can sit on the radio and say things that they listen to you.
I have been an independent investigator general for over the past 9 years of my life.
Desmond coming. Desmond,
How about you throwing jobs there that you can't even substantiate?
But I haven't learned it. Say I can substantiate.
Yeah,
I haven't learned it. They tell me I can substantiate.
You're accusing the man.
What I'm saying.
But I just said it. I have made a disclaimer. I have never been.
Somebody, do I say have the floor?
You have the floor.
When I listen to Desmond, I think he's struggling with his sense of reasoning on this show because
You really think so?
before he came, he on the show with a different mindset, not with a honest mindset, honest with a low.
This president said he's going for justice.
So that is to tell you that the war crime code, the TRC report you're talking about, it has different phases. And the lawyer just said it has different phases. It depends on a government that is empowered to determine which of the phases to use or not to use.
David, let me just provide some. I don't want to provide some level of education. I know that. I know that. My thing is that my brother needs to know that there is nowhere in the law that says that the president can apologize for criminal act committed on behalf of people. There's nowhere in the law. Nowhere in the law. Crimes are not transferable on our laws.
The only power the president has when
is to pardon when the person is convicted, then he can pardon them. But the president don't have no authority.
All right, Moses, let's get your party comment on this one so we can transition.
In this country.
Moses, let's get your party comment on this. We can transition.
I agree with you. I think it would be the worst thing for any leader to do to go and say, I apologize to all of you that your parents were murdered by people, so let's just let it go. We need to hold people accountable in our country. Even in the United States, yeah, people who committed war crimes,
So
75,
you are
80.
off. He's talking about he off.
Yeah, go ahead, quickly.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So what I was saying is that even in the United States here, right? People who committed war crimes 60, 70 years ago are still being held accountable because they want to set a deterrent. You don't want people coming to repeat the same crimes. That's why people are being punished, so that people will not applaud the government again. Beginning.
All right, so gentlemen, we'll have to transition because of time. I know the December tour issue. We'll talk about that if time permits. But let's talk about Senator Darius Dillon. The senator is proposing a bill for if that bill passes, it means that on every remittance, maybe through Western Union, Sendwaves or MoneyGrams, whatever amount that you receive, about $1 will be deducted, I think, for some diaspora development fund. I don't know why he quanted that way, but from the reality of things and the role that people expect that the senator will play, do you think such bill or such proposal is justified? Let's say from you.
Well, I would say absolutely no, it's not justifiable. And I think under our law, Senator Dillon does not even have the authority to propose any revenue bill. The Constitution is clear. The revenue bills, anything that has to do with revenue, tax, and fine, originate from the House of Representatives. You know, and people need to stop this political grandstanding. Senator Dillon is my very good friend. You know, if you want, look, there are a lot of ways that the country itself can generate natural resources. The vice president here went to B. Martin the other day. Look at what we're getting in terms of revenue. You're looking for money for this country. When you sit on worth, you just passed a concession for ArcelorMittal. What is there for the Liberian people? Come and say it to us. How many iron ores are they taking out of this? What is the percentage are you taking from there to say, look, let's keep this in an escrow account for the future generation, or let's use this to build institutions that maybe people from the diaspora will come, they can also invest into it. $1.6 billion worth of gold every year from B. Martin. You're not going after them. You're after people who hustling in America to send their people little 1 or 2 cents. You want to ask them to deduct dollar from that money to give it to what? For what? To pay you high salaries? This is complete disservice.
Okay. George.
Frankly, I'm one person who think that our reserves should be in gold as a country. We got high-grade gold in Liberia. We got people mining our gold. They're just carrying the raw gold. But when we take $150 to $200 million to put it in a foreign account, we say foreign reserves like this and that. So Senator Dillon should be thinking about enacting laws or trying to convince his colleague to enact laws that will ensure that our foreign reserve is in gold. Just as the United States foreign reserve is in gold.
Of course.
Okay, the richest country in the world.
Dubai, other than England.
What other country got a foreign reserve in gold?
Ghana has just done the same. Ghana.
All right. So taxes are already being paid on this money, on the money transfer through the service provider. What kind of tax again you want from on it? Remittances that come to people help to stimulate the economy. Already the economy, the kind of challenges are here. Then you want to go there again to pick some from there.
And even the Trump government also put taxes on the people money.
Yeah.
The Trump government.
Yeah. Yeah. They're sending money here trying to increase tax on it already.
Of course.
All right. Then they come here again. So the poor Debbie America, they want to send money.
Brother Moses Annie will tell you.
So I think we should be smart. We should be more creative in dealing with issues here than They're putting further pressure. Mr. Sandy, yeah? No free money in America.
Everybody.
Every time Mr. Sandy said that he worked for 8 per hour. Every time. Sometimes when we see some show on the show, they're doing this. That one, I don't like to ask them for money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait there.
Yeah.
What do you think about the bill being proposed by the Senator Darius Dillon?
Well, I mean, the senator got to be as much as clearer to his own bill, because since that bill was submitted to the Senate plenary, I have been trying to make some research around West Africa, especially Africa as a continent, to know as to whether that is even applicable in other countries.
It doesn't mean that can be applicable here.
You understand? But it has not been my source to say, oh, because it is not applicable, so it cannot be applied in Liberia. No, that has not been. But I wanted to know as to whether that is there, because we do comprehensive political contextual analysis. You compare governance structures in other countries. So now, this is my point. I do strongly object that the senator who has been described as the light will have to be, I see that as a imposition. In other words, to say you are imposing on the Liberian people. Almost 75% of our Liberian population depend on remittances from abroad. So if the senator is saying that this very same Liberian that he has been advocating for, that he stands to advocate for, and now that you're saying that there should be $1 deduction of every remittance transaction. Let's assume if you do the math, we have about 5 million human beings. If you want to say 5 million, the $1 times 5 million human beings, you'll be discussing over 500,000 plus of US dollars. Where is that money going? What purpose would that money be used? And how is it going to impact the life of the Liberian people? So I think, in my honest opinion, that the senator, a bill, he might be, meaning something positive for Liberians. But I think that the substance of that bill, from my level of comprehension, I think it does not seek to support the welfare of ordinary Liberians, especially those who depend heavily on remittances from abroad.
Now, so based on Desmond's comments regarding Dillon must have some positive intention. It's not necessary that you want the money, $1 to be deducted to put it in his pocket. Maybe he must, from analysis I heard from family, from the legal perspective, he must have error in terms of where the procedure or where his limitation is.
Why is he targeting remittances from America that are from people money that coming to poor people?
Even if he
imagine that poor people, no jobs in the country, people depend on Americans.
So if he errs, my best guess is Darrow does not mean harm. It means good for the country. Even if the dollar were accepted that the dollar be deducted from the remittances.
He got that. Let me, Chief, can I provide some information?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I think it's from 100 down, it's $1. From 100 up, it's $3. Some other thing. I saw some fun. It's not just dollar.
Oh, I mean, it is not just applicable. It's not just $1 applied to all transactions.
No,
but it is even worse, catastrophic.
But I don't think they have submitted the bill.
I think it's still in. Yeah, he's just trying to teach the public to see how
to see how people are going to take it. But for me, it doesn't serve the purpose. There are many ways that we can, get money from our system. First of all, the government has increased GST. It came from, I think, $10 down to 10% to now 13%.
Yeah.
GST has increased. Once GST increases, it means that goods and services definitely prices will have to a little bit increase to be able to meet up with the GST. Even when you go now to the bank to take a personal loan, the GST attached to that. And then they're going to take the current GST as it is in the country. So they are all different tax brackets. Mm-hmm. So why are you still trying to find a way to impose extra tax on the people? And like I said, those of us that have relatives in the US, sometimes they want to send us money, but they're looking at it because, in fact,
I mean, you're causing a member of parliament in Britain.
The guys have no, that's my niece.
Your niece, brother. Yeah.
That's my niece. Yeah. In fact, she was the one who even resigned her job
Yeah.
and called for the British Prime Minister
The
to step
reason,
aside.
the step aside.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally, gentlemen, finally.
Moses has not spoken on the team.
Yeah,
Moses, yeah, now you have a Moses.
Moses, tell you something.
Moses, yeah.
Well, there's
Mose, mi bɔra Mose ke mi se response mo padana to le fɛn dɔ ye la bɔ sɛnɛkɛlaw se ɔmɔ dala mɔ o de
Yeah, but look, you guys have already spoken for us in the diaspora. You are absolutely right. If such law acts, the implication would be very negative.
Sure.
Because whenever we wire money to Liberia, we are charged fees. Even if I send somebody $5, I send ways. The minimum send way is gonna charge me maybe it's like $1.50. Now, like before, when we're using Western Union, you send $100, you have to pay $10 for them. So if somebody asks me for $100, I should be ready to spend $120 to send that money to our president. And the senator is telling us that, hey, like my brother George said, the minimum would be $1 if it is $100. That's compounding our problem. And the implication, someone will say, you know what? We don't have to send money to Liberia. There are people doing businesses in Liberia, people constructing properties.
Seriously.
Same.
That's
The senator may say, oh, well, they don't know what we ask for. But what if this person is spending $5,000? Or the person is spending $2,000? Let's say, you got 100,000. Diaspora Liberian sending that money. And you say, what? Diaspora development. What does it mean?
It's in your interest.
It's discriminatory. If I may use a right word, that is discriminatory.
Moses, it is in your interest.
That law is discriminatory.
Why you wouldn't support it?
We'll fight to kill our law.
You'll fight to kill it. Okay, gentlemen, finally, time has got over us. Finally, quickly, let's handle this last topic quickly, and then I can open the lines briefly, and we call it a quit for the night. President Borjas' ambassador, we spoke about him yesterday.
The man on the block.
Pro bono ambassador,
Yeah.
has written on his page, and he said that Liberia ambassador at large Sheikh Kuyata writes, we have had former presidents, lawmakers, or regimes. However, we can never have a former Liberia. Our stance is an allegiance to the flag of Liberia and to the republic for which it stands. One nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will not apologize, but I will clarify my statement. Gentlemen, David, let's begin with you. We spoke about shit yesterday.
So, you know, that guy, I like his tenacity. I like his tenacity. Speaking without fear, you know, doesn't want to allow himself to be cowed to intimidation because he knows what he stands for and what he's talking about. So he means what he's talking. As far as concerned, he has spoken his mind, and he has done nothing wrong to apologize to anybody.
Isn't this his Facebook page, his Facebook post? Isn't this post a provocation to the legislature?
Well, it's the prerogative of the legislator to feel whatever he wants to feel. But the fact of the matter is that the man knows why he's talking, and he knows that he can defend himself. He's fearlessly talking that, look, I owe no one an apology. My allegiance to this country and whatever I've said or I'm saying It's in the interest of the country. He stands by that. And he said there's no need to apologize.
Okay,
If,
let me hold you
if
there.
I were him, if I knew what I'm talking and I know that I have a defense to put up, I would take similar stance.
Okay, let's hear from you, Edwin.
We don't want at this point in time to have distraction between the two branches of our government. I listened to Sheikh Kouyate's comments. In fact, I think he went to represent the president in, I think,
We played that
Italy or
yesterday.
so.
Italy,
Yes. And for my person, some of the comments that were made were uncalled for.
Why?
Diplomatically, right?
Diplomatically. When you go out to represent your country, irrespective of the negatives, that's not what you want to go and sell out there. And it happened before, even with the.
You are speaking truth to power.
Bossman, I'm coming.
And then you're saying
no.
diplomatically was not
There you're not
right?
speaking truth to power. There you're speaking to another group of people.
Yeah, but those are people
listen,
who
Chief.
normally manipulate small countries like Nigeria.
No, Bossman, listen. No, I'm not talking about the process of it, talking about our resources going to Europe. Who's giving your resources to Europe? It is not the same. It is not you, the same people.
And that's why he's talking about.
You are the one. No.
Wrong.
But
He said the
he
arm
made
twist
comment. He made comment against the legislature that the arm twist them, that they will not sign concession and so they take bribe.
So he's saying that he will not apologize. Let's hear
No.
from you.
So again, he has the right to say what he wants to say. The legislators themselves has the right to take whatever actions they want to take. Or they will do it again due process. And if they vote to sanction him and write to the president that they have a vote of no confidence in him, the president will have to take a
And
decision.
do you think that would be the appropriate decision to take by the legislature or by the House of Representatives?
Well, they have that in their ambient. It is an authority that they
It's not
have.
a suppression of
No, it's
free
symbolic.
speech.
Hold up.
Are you not
It is.
suppressing free
It's symbolic.
speech?
It doesn't have any legal binding.
It doesn't have
Symbolic.
any legal bend of jobs.
It's symbolic.
Is it not, if they took that decision, my question is it not a suppression of speech, of free speech?
No, it is not.
Okay, let's hear from you, comrade.
So vote of no confidence in legislative politics actually is symbolic, because that person from different branches.
If a different person communicate with the executive.
Mary Bro, City Hall, early time, vote of no confidence was there. The president said it will remain.
But at the end of the day, the president said got her out.
No,
because
you threw
But at the same time, she was there.
no, but she still moved.
you threw it. Go ahead.
So the truth is, it's good to face our enslavers and tell them the truth in their faces. Sometimes it can help. Yeah, the setting may not be correct, but the message matters. It can help them have certain thought that these people that we saw or we think that they are still where they were, now they are thinking, let's give them something better. Look, Mr. Kouyaté spoke the way I've been thinking. And I feel that for Liberia to grow, we need to take some radical economic reform, radical reform in the medical sector, radical reform in the education sector, most of the radical reform. Look, you're not going to drive people away, but you have to be clear. You say, this is what I want from my natural resources. And we all agree on that here most of the time. Okay? And that's what Sheikh is saying. Sheikh is saying, look, for me, when it comes to the accusation of corruption, because it's difficult for me to speak to that, we know we've been seeing some. I was at the legislature in the past. Yes, you used to see sometimes the president's chief lobbyist, how to call John Davis.
John Davis, yeah.
You would see the money bag, and it used to be open this and that. So it used to be open. In legislature, it's not bribery, it's lobby. Most of the time when you lobby in the legislature, you can lobby sometimes with just that was sometimes even in the US Congress, the people tell you say,
of course, they are lobbyists.
So Sheikh is now saying that he will not apologize.
Yeah.
Is it a provocation to the legislature? I mean,
Well,
the House of Representatives?
what I will call for, before I answer your question, what I will call for is, let's dip into our lives. It could be provocation, but that provocation could have some elements that could spark lot of things that probably maybe honor.
So you are saying that the House should reconsider its
Yeah,
decision?
I think they are politicians. They should.
My honest,
Yeah.
this
But at bottom, man, I can enjoy you. So go ahead.
this is it. Let's ask ourselves: is it what? Is it the? Is why is the horse? Why is the horse wanting to question an ambassador for his description of the horse when similar description will also apply by fellow lawmaker of that very same horse? Why was the action taken then? Musa Hassan Belati, lawmaker of District Number 7, Nimba County, him on OK FM, in the very same May, and described the horse, of which he highly recommended that the horse should be undeterred. He said the horse is deeply corrupt. What did the horse do? They went silent on him. Now a certain ambassador also went on the radio. They see very same OK FM on the radio station, and then described it. That same honorable horse as a point of concentration because of what we call deeply intrigue, alleged corruption. Now the horse inviting the young man, so we want to investigate you. Now the young man has posted saying that because I'm sure he may have been guided by his legal team. So that people calling they will pressure you to apologize publicly, or else they will sign a vote of no confidence in you, so that the president can dismiss you. That is a threat. Now they may have made it public on his Facebook page that I will not surrender myself to any apology. I will only go clarify my statement. And he has a reason for which that he believes that the horse is corrupt. So
don't you think he's provoking the House of Representatives?
No, it is not about whether he is provoking the House of Representatives. The question we should be asking ourselves is, what are the allegations level against the horse? Whether it is authentic? You're laughing.
So you're going to go through your
No, Saba. And I'd like to do an addendum on what he said. I'd like to do an addendum, and I agree with him. Musa Belati made similar
For the first time ever.
For the first time, I agree with that. That's why I've been talking. But today he talked good. Musa Belati made similar comments against that same house. A coolish. You talk about being corrupt.
Hey, what with impunity?
In one way, impunity. At no time did we hear that they summon him, any committee.
Well, Sheikh is a different man.
No, also.
Is it not like that? A Sheikh recording there? We'll have to play that.
Musa is a member of the legislature. So he's entitled to his opinion.
So if you are a member.
Did he say in house, in session?
No, on a public radio.
On a public radio.
And he even highly recommended for an audit to be conducted by the GSC.
Musa has always said.
Musa said it on the radio.
Even most of the people, even Amara has said.
And so it wasn't the first time
because these are people in the same branch of government.
1 minute, gentlemen.
Sheikh, how they call Mustafa?
Yeah,
Sheikh Mustafa Kuyate is not the first person to have bluntly.
But he's not part of that legislature.
He doesn't have to be a member.
Who told you that?
A librarian?
So, those who are the members, like Musa Belati, he said it outside on the public radio.
They have immunity clause.
He has.
Musa Belati
said it on the.
So, gentlemen, please, the mess is speech.
Yes.
No.
You're allowed the mental.
Councilor waiting. I don't infringe my right. So Musa Belati said it on the public radio, bringing the same body of which is a member to public ridicule. That house of which I'm a member is corrupt. And up to now, we haven't heard that a committee was set up and Musa Belati should appear. So because Sheikh Mustafa Kuyate is outside of the legislature, but saying similar thing that a member said, so he should be brought to. So no outsider should hold the house accountable.
When it is a public.
Okay. That's your take. Moses, let's hear from you.
Is it coming?
Sheikh Kouyaté has said that he's not going to apologize. In fact, he's also appeared tomorrow. We're all going to follow his appearance. We're hoping that he can go public. He's requesting that his appearance is done in public. Now that you say you will not apologize, what do you think? Is it a provocation to the House of Representatives or not?
I don't see it as a provocation. He's simply saying that he's staying in defense of what he said. And I like his stance. The action by the House is intended to cow him.
To cow him?
Yeah, to cow him to submission.
Submission.
To submission.
Take back his statement.
Yeah.
No, but the House is also concerned that his also has thrown the House in the public, dispute and ridicule.
Well, when people speak, people have the right to interpret the message their own way. That's what we call subjectivity. People have the right to see it, to interpret it their own way. But it is an open record. It is an open information. It is in the public domain. Everyone knows it. Everyone on the stock show here, we are all aware that the legislature, including the Senate, is corrupt. And the guy,
Some of you from America.
You said that one. My brother Moses, Sonny, you don't want to say that
Let
one.
us go for Moses.
No, but it said we serve to Moses right in America. Of course, yes, it can be done.
No, but
It's service outside of
the point
Liberia.
is Moses alone will not be held. All the parliaments will be held.
I'm very grateful that today we have the Speaker of the Parliament here, and we are having this event at the Parliament of the Italian people. We want to say to you that Africa is a continent of nobility. Africa is a continent of dignity. Africa is a continent of sovereignty. Our problems in Africa have not been Africans. Our problems have been the Europeans. You came in the name of colonizations. We accepted you as our brothers, and we embrace you as one people. And you took our natural resources earlier without any concession, and later on gave our independence. And you do something called concession. Africa's problems today is concession. Every concession agreement signed in Africa are against the African people. No agreements, whether in agriculture, whether in the mining sector, whether in oil and gas, in every sector on this planet, every concession between Europe and Africa has been win and lost. Win to Europe, lost to Africa. We are using this platform as you have come to listen to us. That Africa wants to breathe. Africa wants to showcase a potential. You are talking about Africa producing, having over 600 million young people in the next 10 years or few years to come. But have you asked yourself, those young people, what is the future of them? Today in Africa, like my country, Liberia, the oldest country in Africa, who got independent in 1847, we have 65% of our population young people. Out of the 65%, we have 40% of them jobless. Why are they jobless? Are they lazy? No. They are jobless because there's no opportunities for them. Every concession agreement that has been signed in Africa, in Liberia, have been for the foreign investment and against the Liberian people. On behalf of our...
Okay, gentlemen, you listen to
as the orator of the year.
I want the man to be the next independent orator.
So he has spoken his mind. Gentlemen, we have limited time. Let's just open the lines for a few minutes. 0776 540-987. Again, 0776-540-987. We hope to follow the appearance of Shika tomorrow at the legislature. We really want to hear him speaking. Maybe he got more, can of worms, so we're going to hear from him tomorrow. 0776-540-987. Just a few minutes. Let's open the lines for you. 0776-540-987. We've been discussing a couple of things. Today, the Justice's Chamber ruled in the case involving Yeke Koluba and the House of Representatives. And of course, the judge denied the motion of information filed by Yeke Koluba and his lawyer. They've taken a flight to the Supreme Court. We're hoping to hear from that branch as to what's going to happen. We also spoke about Senator Dillon asking that he wants that $1 should be deducted from any remittance coming from outside of the country, I think for some development purposes. Also, we spoke about the man, Sheikh Kuyateh. He said, well, you're not going to apologize to the House of Representatives tomorrow. If he appears there, he wants an open session, an open hearing. He doesn't want anything that will be behind closed door. In fact, he said there'll be former lawmakers, former president, but there will not be former Liberia. And so let's hear from you. If you are there, if you have any comments or questions, just a few minutes. 0776-540-987. That's the number to call. 0776-540-987. That's the number to call and to allow Fretchen on the nighttime heat. But in the meantime, let me be taking comments from across the table. This caller is calling in. Let's take this caller quickly. Good evening. Let's hear from you. Yes, sir. Let's hear from you, sir.
Yeah, I call from the GNB and JVA Dream for Better Liberia Foundation. In Doe community, and not a UP intellectual people headquarters in Doe community.
Okay.
So, I'm a man who was grew up by his father. And then my grandfather told me, say, it's good to be with the elders. When you be with the elder, you'll be like an elder. You be like an elder. And then I listened to Sheikh Kuyateh, at the European Summit. I hate to say he went there as an activist. But he forgot to know that he was representing his government. And he should have been represented in that manner to ensure that Liberia issue is fully addressed as current dispensation debates. But Sheikh Kuyateh remind me when the president provided the parable recently, he said the door is crossing the bridge and then you look into the river with big boom. You got a big boom in your mouth, but you look at your shadow and then you the boom in your mouth and then jump on the boom in the river. That's what Sheikh Kuyateh did to himself.
Okay.
To openly accuse the national legislature of standing Google complexion. That was great on his part.
Okay, many thanks. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Hello, FM, how you doing?
We are okay.
This is my first time on your show. Thank you tonight for the show and the topic. This is my sister. I'm calling from Flower Town. I suppose Sheikh Kuyateh 100 times. You can take it or listen, you can disagree with Sheikh Kuyateh. I support him 100 million times. The master say, I'm from Flower Town.
Okay.
But the decade they can direct me, came into a post, or came into a station and put me in something for 10 years. I will accept.
You think Sheikh Kuyateh is not for the government? It's still like a bro, African power.
Then they go after you. If you say the right thing, they after you. You say the wrong thing, they after you. Say the right one, if they proceeding as a government, working yourself like people, working to rescue us, like rescue the people.
But Sheikh Kuyateh by the rescue now.
We are yelling out, you're not in school. School first coming up. If after one person, when the next day they go wrong, then la.
Okay.
You see that free?
Okay.
Now today you can go back to there. So for me, I support it.
Okay.
Come and go back, liberal with me.
Okay.
I support it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Many thanks, CC. 0776500987. That's the number to call quickly, and then you are live on the nighttime heat tonight. Again, 0776500987. You call this number. We're going to put you on, and of course, just be civil and be civil to make your point. 0776500987. Gentlemen, time. It's not in our favor. It's not our friend tonight. Dave, let's hear from you.
Well, it was as usual. It was a good show, and it was a pleasure being here as usual. And
Okay, Dave, just 1 minute. Let's take this caller quickly. Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
This is Lafana Sanya.
Oh, Mr. Sion. Okay.
Yeah, if Shakespeare can go against the legislatures of Africa, let the men go there, let the men go. But I'm surprised that somebody saying he support them or drag them to court. If you're looking for your own court problem, you work for 6 years. You work for good 6 years while they were there, chunking money on your phone, massively. Today you want support ugly eye. The government here came to rescue the Nigerian. We will support the government here. All the things we're not hearing it today, we're hearing it. Going to court, we were never hearing it from the past 6 years. So this time around, we support the government. Mr. Kennedy, are you from Salaye District? I'm from the same Salaye District.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
your friend looking for. Let me call you.
Yes, sir. I'm from Salaye District. I'm from Salaye District.
Hello. Yes, sir.
You can't do bad to me like that.
yeah, Salaye video can talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it on a full group page. You say we will not apologize, but we will just make clarity. Second, why you say? Let me say this: the corruption of the horse. We don't need workers and therefore to know that were all our problem coming from. That were all. So if they ask for the mayor appointment letter, you don't have power to confirm somebody. That only the horse of Senate can do that. So let's check here there for me. I can't speak for him. In Metro Man, you go to school, you know what he's saying, so he can go there. But to say they get nothing to share here, nothing at all. That because the president appoint the man.
Okay.
The president have the right to fire him anytime he will. But they are our problem in the country.
Okay.
They are our problem. So
Okay.
let's share go there. Thank you. The man I had to get them there. So thank you.
All right, many thanks.
And so
many
let me
thanks.
just
Yeah.
conclude quickly. And it was good that I called a Salaye man. Or if you didn't do it, somebody
Man,
will
I'm
call
a family there trying to connect.
somebody will call me and say, "Oh, David, are you from Grandson or from
I'm
Sino?"
a family trying to connect. You're not plenty, my man.
You can't start looking for family.
You're not plenty.
It was good. So good night, our listeners. and viewers.
Desmond, let's hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
All right, Desmond, it seems that the callers don't want us to go home. Let's take this caller quickly. Let's hear from you quickly. Few seconds.
Sir George,
Yes, sir.
good evening, Chief, and good evening to all of the panelists on the panel tonight.
Okay.
So this is Quill William Covey, and I joined this conversation from District 3 as a member of the Unity Party Intellectual Bureau. So let me appreciate all of you for the very talking point. First, let me begin with the Yage issue.
No, only one talking point now. Time has caught over for us, please.
Okay, no problem. So it means, let me just use the one talking point to appreciate the president for the bill submitted to the House
Okay.
to fast track corruption cases or to establish special court for corruption. And when I hear people saying that, oh, the president trying to reconcile the country, why now create one economic crime code? There's no reconciliation can come in the absence of justice. You still have people who brand when they see these people who committed these crimes during the war, when they see them, they pin them, they hurt them.
Okay.
So why are we talking about reconciliation? They too much be reliable or pay for whatever they do. We're not talking about putting them in jail, but at least if they will come up to apologize, let the record be said that yes, they were found guilty for
Okay.
corruption that they committed. So thanks to President Bouhaka for submitting that corruption code. Look, they say justice delayed, justice denied. If we have special court, now one more time, they will adjudicate the case and found somebody or guilty or found a result to it. I think that will be getting.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, Des, you were speaking.
Yeah,
We're not going to take additional calls
so
now,
let me close on this. I say it was great. But then you see what Sheikh said, first and foremost, understand what has been Sheikh upbringing. Sheikh is one person who believes that Africa must be governed by Africans. He is one of he is one of Africa's strongest, advocates who believe that the Pan-Africanism should live on, and that is why he said that was not a shock from the truth teller.
Okay, we'll hold you there. Yes,
I think
just few seconds. Short.
it was a very good show again, as always. But if we have to open the whole debate on who's Pan-African or not, Sheikh Kuyatene would not come into the stuff. But however, it is not his dictates to determine the function or the workings of the legislature when he goes there. They have their own rules, and he has to abide by it.
Okay.
So there is a legal maxim that says anything that is not done legally or properly at all, it's not done at all. So it's a case of Honorable former Representative Yeke Koluba. The precept was not said properly. The judge has ruled. People should understand, and so he go to the Supreme Court. I don't think I will see anything other than that.
Okay, Moses.
I want to say,
Yeah, go ahead quickly.
I want to say it was a great show. I want to say thanks to my colleagues for coming. We all had a great time, very good discussion. And thank you to Saba for coordinating. I look forward to coming back.
All right, thank you. If all goes well tomorrow, we'll likely have Simeon Fremont as our guest for just 45 minutes. If all goes well tomorrow. And of course, also, we're going to make sure that we'll have our lenses on the appearance of a Sheikh. Each one man I really admired. I want to hear exactly what you're going to say tomorrow at the House of Representatives in clarifying his statement. Like he said, he's not going to issue any apology, but rather he's going to clarify his statement. Well, until then, Saba George is my name. Have a pleasant night.